So what is today about? So you all saw the agenda. Obviously, you all registered to come today. So thank you so much. It was really to drive our business forward. So explore all the different ways in technology can help drive efficiencies, working better with the technology. The idea is hopefully to provide you with some valuable insights in terms of how Advania are working with other clients in this space, and actually some really crucial topics to help solve some real, truly business needs.
Yes.
So the agenda for today, obviously I'm not going to talk very long. I'm going to do a quick overview of Advania. Some of you know us from old, some quite new, so I'll just do a very, very quick overview. I want to get into all of the experts. It's not for me to speak today. So we'll get into Copilot and AI. You can't go to a meeting now about tech without talking about Copilot and AI. So the idea of this, we're going to debug some of the mystification around it and just talk about how we can actually bring this in reality into your worlds. We're then going to talk, we've got our automation and analytics team who are going to talk to you about exactly that. So where we can automate, where we can use the data, our crown jewels of our business, to drive that business forward. And we're also interlinking that with our Business Central practice as well, because we know a few of you in the room have Business Central as your finance system as well. So how that all interlinks is quite nicely put together. Again, tell me a technology meeting you haven't been to without cybersecurity. Massive part of the agenda to talk about latest strategies to protect you against the ever-evolving cyber threats that we have. So what we often find is we're implementing the technology, but are we really truly understanding how our employees are using that technology? So that's an opportunity for really us to enhance how we can use the technology and work better together, especially in the hybrid worlds that we all find ourselves in. And then finally, we've got modernising infrastructure. I think back in the day, that would have been the whole on-premise to cloud conversation might have been pretty high up on the agenda. But the purpose of that session is really to bring this all together and talk about what we need to make all this technology a reality. We then got a Q&A and close, and then we go into any one-to-one sessions that you might have booked today. So as I say, not going to talk for very long, but I'm just going to give a bit of a background to the Advania Group. So Advania ultimately based in the Nordic regions with head office in Sweden as group. So Sweden, Finland, Norway, Iceland, Denmark, and we were their first position into Northern Europe and the UK as Advania UK. But what's important as well is to focus on the UK part of the business. So we're dotted around the UK. With each acquisition, we acquire a new office. Ultimately, our sort of head offices, I would say, Manchester, Sheffield, London, typically where we all sit and where we all work from. We are 1,650 employees, but you can see South Africa, Cape Town, not quite the UK. But what this was is when, I'll talk a little bit about our journey, but basically the UK entity that was acquired by Advania Group had the Cape Town office. Very traditionally, back 10, 15 years ago, we set up as sort of more of a first-line support desk. Very, very proud to say it's so much more than that now. So second, third line, we've got service delivery out there, we've got project management out there, team leads out there. So it's a really growing part of our business, our Cape Town office that we work very closely with. Our town hall was just hosted from there last week. So we work really closely with our South African colleagues.
Perfect.
Journey so far, you might recognise some names here. So each of us have come from sort of different entities, even in the account management room here. So ultimately, IT Lab at the very beginning started off as an IT support managed service desk. So very much sort of focused on, looking after the technology, traditional technology, all of that on-prem, looking after all of that for organisations and clients. The acquisitional journey started from then, really, in terms of the idea was to buy companies that can help our clients with extra elements. So just to name a few. Perspective Risk, it's a bit blurry actually. Perspective Risk in 2017 was a cyber organisation. So we were able to then offer cyber security services to our clients as well as the sole managed services. Content and Code, actually specialisms in SharePoint and data. So we were able to get a bit of a deeper understanding in that area as well. Soltech, Azure specialisms, Sitcom, telephony specialisms. You can see what we're actually doing through every acquisition is actually build that portfolio of products and services that we become one-stop shop ultimately for our clients to come to for technology needs. Most recently, we acquired Azure IT, who are Dynamics practice. I know some of you will recognise that name more than you potentially do Advania. We already had a Dynamics practice before, so that was very much an intention to grow that team of consultants, developers and support teams. And then most recently, we've actually acquired CCS Media and Servium, who are both value-added resellers. They're really focusing in on the kit, really, the hardware. They've fantastic relationships with Dell and Lenovo, HP, all of that sort of stuff, so that we can do that whole end-to-end, provide a device so that people can use technology through the device, etc. So we really are trying to become that one place that you can come to for all of your technology needs. Within all that, you can see we've had a couple of rebrands. I've been with this company from JMC days, so I've been with the company for 11 years. And ultimately, I feel like I've worked for about 3 or 4 different companies in that time, in a good way. So we had IT Lab, Content in Cloud, and then when Advania Group acquired us in 2021, by Goldman Sachs, so pretty financially stable, we became Advania Group. I think it's also important to note, Advania UK, we have our own sort of strategy. They acquired us because they knew we knew the UK market. So we're quite autonomous. So whilst we benefit from being part of group, we are autonomous in what we do as Advania UK. A good thing. Our overall proposition, some of you may know this or may not, but ultimately we're everything around the Microsoft 3 clouds. So Office 365, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Azure, and Dynamics 365. Now, we'll caveat that Dynamics 365 is a beast, right? So we obviously look after the Business Central and Dynamics Sales part of Dynamics 365, not all of it. And ultimately, what we do is we provide the managed services around all of these solutions so we can support you. We can implement it with our professional services. As well as that, we've got our own digital workplace front, which is an intranet built on SharePoint. We use internally, and we can implement that for our clients as well. And then mapping all around all of it is our cybersecurity. So cyber being at the heart of everything that we do, making sure that we've got that security. So whilst I appreciate that's very high level, my suggestion to you is if you don't know whether we do it, and chances are we do. If we don't, we'll be very open and honest. I mean, who's to say we're not going to then go and look for the company to acquire in the future, so we can do it in the future for you. So that's very much our motto when it comes to everything around the Microsoft technology solutions. It's quite a controversial thing, mate, because I always find company values quite cheesy. I actually find them a little bit, okay. This actually does resonate with me, genuinely. And that's why I wanted to talk a little bit about it, is we do hold very dearly. We have company with people at heart. So written everywhere on the walls as well, but genuinely that is the base of our culture, the base of our values. And what does that actually mean? Let's be honest. Again, is it just words? Well, actually what it means is we recognise the difference is you. So the difference is both you as account managers in here, with delivery teams, as support teams, as product managers, whatever that might be. We empower our teams internally to make good decisions, responsibility to act for our clients, and we genuinely feel our people are our USP in terms of the technology market. The other side of that is obviously with people at heart, our clients. If our people are happy and they're delivering for our clients, then our clients will be happy. So ultimately they go hand in hand in terms of quite simple, actually. And the whole idea is we try and build customer-centric DNA within our culture. So everything that we do is try and build that relationship, build that intimacy, so that actually you can come to us and have those very frank, open conversations around what you're doing in your business and understanding your business. I think it's definitely important from an account management perspective that we might not know everything about tech, but what we need to know is everything about your business, or at least everything in our power to know about your business. So the guys might ask you questions that you might think, oh, I thought we were having a technology meeting. But actually what we want to know is about your business and how, what your USP in your market is, what your competitive advantage is. So then we can take that away and then align the technology to that. So that's very much the way that we want to drive our relationships forward.